Coming up on today's show, we continue our celebration of the Alien franchise and break down the second installment in the trilogy, the 1986 classic, Aliens.
You're going out there to destroy them, right? Not to study. Not to bring back. That's the plan. All right, I'm in.
Stay tuned. Welcome to Scary World, where we walk you through the latest and greatest in the world of horror. I am your host, Arturo Padilla.
Hi.
For those of you just joining us, we have one major rule around here: no spoilers. Okay, now that we got that out of the way, there are 5 categories: production, story, ensemble, horror, and legacy. Each category can score up to 2 points.
Showtime.
Per IMDb, the synopsis goes: decades after surviving the Nostromo incident, Ellen Ripley is sent to re-establish contact with a terraforming colony, but finds herself battling the alien queen and her offspring. Director James Cameron knocks it out of the park with this excellent sequel. All technical aspects of this movie were perfectly executed. Cameron had showcased his talent for sci-fi action and horror on his previous 2 directorial efforts, Piranha 2 and The Terminator. With Aliens, though, he was able to flex every single production muscle he had and easily outdid his previous work by leaps and bounds.
I'm telling you, there's something moving and it ain't us.
Get them out of there!
This movie is beautifully shot. There are no wasted shots in this movie. The filmmakers made sure all the action and horror shots were impactful and effective. The sound editing and the score was paramount and one of the highlights of this production, elevating the tension and the suspense during some pivotal scenes. The practical sets and the practical elements were top-notch and really adds another element of realism to this world. James Cameron is one of the few directors I know that has made 2 incredible sequels, Aliens and Terminator 2: Judgment Day. This dude knows what he's doing behind the camera. He knows how to produce a movie. He knows about all the technical aspects of filmmaking and is able to execute everything at an elite level to make sure that we have a memorable film that will last forever. And for production and all the great things James Cameron and his crew were able to accomplish with this movie, this film gets the maximum points of 2 for this category. The script and the story was also written by James Cameron. The story is well written with all the acts flowing extremely well, hitting all the right beats along the way. The script is well paced with very little fluff and expositional lull interfering with the flow of the story. The story is entertaining, it's captivating, it's everything you want from a sequel.
God damn it, that's not all. Because if one of those things gets down here, then this bullshit that you think is so important, you can just kiss all that goodbye.
The tension and the suspense is built steadily throughout the course of the movie, culminating in a fantastic 3rd act. It is incredibly hard to follow up a classic with another classic, but James Cameron managed just that with this story and this whole entire production. This story is even more successful than one would have hoped coming from the classic 1979 original. This story took everything that worked with the classic original one and just amplified everything to a 10th degree. And it works. It was a blockbuster that was absolutely ahead of its time. And for the great story that we get and the great script that we get with the amazing 3rd act that we get, this movie gets a solid and a full score of 2 for story. The ensemble was perfectly cast. The characters had great dynamics and they all had great chemistry. I thoroughly enjoyed spending time with the entire Marine outfit. They were fun, they were charming, and they served as great comedic relief when it was needed.
Another glorious day in the Corps. Day in the Marine Corps is like a day on the farm. Every meal's a banquet. Every paycheck a fortune. Every formation a parade. I love the Corps.
Michael Behan in particular was excellent as Corporal Hicks. he shines, especially in the latter part of the movie when things are getting a little crazy. He has a commanding presence when given the proper time on screen, and it shows in this movie. It also showed in his performance a couple of years back as Kyle Reese in The Terminator. This guy knows what he's doing when it comes to action, when it comes to that drama in those action sequences, and it shows in this movie. He definitely shines. Sigourney Weaver is back as Ellen Ripley, and she's able to expand on her previous awesome performance. And in this movie, she adds another layer of badassery to one of the best female characters ever written for the screen. Man, Sigourney Weaver shines in this entire franchise, honestly. Even with the terrible Alien Resurrection, she had a very unique role and a very unique take on that character of Ripley that she had to play in that movie. And here we see another version of Ripley. We see the more confident, the more knowledgeable, the more expert side of Ripley here in this movie. And she just shines. She's just so good in this entire franchise. I love Ellen Ripley. I love what Sigourney Weaver has been able to do with this character throughout the years, and it is one of my favorite characters in movie history. And for this great ensemble, and for Michael Behan's performance, and for Sigourney Weaver's continuing performance as Ripley, and for the awesome people inside those awesome alien suits, this movie gets the full score of 2 for ensemble. All the horror and the sci-fi action in this movie was awesome. It was expertly done, expertly crafted. The majority of it was all practical with very little CG used. Cameron wanted everything to be tangible and real, helping to elevate the entire movie. I'm pretty sure it also helped the cast do their job to the level they did in this movie, having practical things in front of them, having a practical ship to go into, a practical alien to fight. It must have been great to be on this set and be able to actually see the antagonist coming at you and to be able to run into this practical vehicle. Cameron knows what he's doing when it comes to the practical stuff in all of his movies, and this is no different. Aside from that, the aliens look great. The design has been tweaked and given a more terrifying look to it. The Queen design was also very gnarly and very effective and very satisfying. I really love how you get this entire look of the Queen in one kind of stage with the egg sac on, and then when she detaches, it is like just awesome. And it's wild how these little legs can move so fast. But all that said, the practical animatronics and the practical costumes and the makeup really made the action and horror sequences pop in this movie. This was horror and action filmmaking at its finest, folks. And I can't say this enough. Practical, 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 practical. If you go back to the review for Aliens 3, it lost a point because of all the CG that was improperly done and added to that movie. In this movie, you don't get a lot of that. You do get maybe some atmospheric stuff like electrical charges and stuff like that. But even then, it feels part of the world and it feels like it's part of the set. Cameron is known for this, and he's known to make sure that everything you see on screen is tangible, as real as it can be, in order to get the most effective shot and the most effective outcome from his movies and his productions. And for the awesome horror sci-fi action that we get throughout this movie, and the awesome alien designs and the Queen design and the great animatronics and all the practical stuff and the acid and all that great stuff, man, this movie gets the full score for horror, a nice big old 2. What a fantastic movie. A near perfect horror blockbuster film. You don't get these very often, folks. And to get this one with such scope and magnitude and with such excellent execution, it is a thing to behold, and it is awesome. And I am so glad that on rewatch, this movie does not lose any of its shine. It continues to impress all throughout the years. The second half of this movie especially had me on the edge of my seat. Once they get into the colony and they explore their stuff and they figure out what's going on, this thing revs into a different gear and just keeps going and doesn't let you go until the very end. Suspenseful action sequences were top notch. They were really effective. Like its predecessor, the movie knew how to use suspense and tension. But this one added a layer of elevated action that really makes this film stand out from the entire pack. And for the awesome movie that James Cameron was able to execute, for the awesome cast, the awesome practical, the awesome story that we get, the awesome queen laying her eggs, this movie gets the full score of a 2 for legacy. This thing just keeps on giving throughout the years. Every time I watch this thing, it gets better and better and better. And this last time I watched it, it was at its best, especially when that score revs up at the end of the movie. And wow, it's just such a great payoff. And I can't say that enough. This movie was perfectly executed. So to tally it up, Aliens received a 2 for production, 2 for story, 2 for ensemble, 2 for horror, and a 2 for legacy, bringing the total score up to a perfect 10. What a fantastic movie this was. I cannot recommend this movie enough to anyone who has not seen it. You cannot think about this franchise without thinking about this movie in particular and James Cameron's awesome execution on all facets of this production. Go watch Aliens, streaming now on Max.
Can you tell me what time it is?
And that's a wrap, folks. Thank you for watching Scary World. Don't forget to drop a comment down below and hit the thumbs up on the video. Most importantly, do not forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Tell all your friends, all your family, and all their pets to come on down to YouTube. Subscribe to CorpseFeed. We have spoiler-free horror movie reviews for you guys dropping every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And we also have the official CorpseFeed podcast dropping for all you guys on Tuesdays, anywhere you get your podcast streams. We are also on all the socials. Go like, subscribe, and share. We are there. We will see you on Friday for another episode. And remember, it's a scary world out there, but we are here to walk you through it.
Goodbye, bro.